And on the CSM project, pardon me, do we want to go through that? Yeah, I know we did for finance. Mr. Miller, we're doing an update on that for the full board. That'd be great. Big day starting tomorrow, close of business.
That's correct. Beginning tomorrow, and we're fine. We need to create a 3-day weekend so that we can do the final move of the data so that we can be ready for go live on Monday morning. And so with that, if I could spend just a few minutes talking to you, reminding you that we've gotten very good use out of the software that was designed by our in-house staff back in 1987. We're replacing that software with a customer service management system that's built off of the Microsoft Dynamics GP platform. That's the Great Plains software that was acquired by Microsoft and integrated. So we have to be ready on Monday to, in the next month, to read 135,000 meters, compute the bills, collect the payments for those, to be able to answer about 25,000 phone calls in the coming month, and to handle about 8,000 walk-in customers. And so with that, we've worked very hard to make sure that we provide a better customer experience for this. We've been working on this for the last 2 years. This represents a significant change, and so we've had an extensive quality assurance, quality control overlay on top of this. That's what we believe that allows us to say that we have managed all of the risks associated with this project within this board's appetite for risk. Next slide. And so some of the new features that will allow the customers to access their account 24/7, either online or by phone. We'll be able to provide them with electronic reminders for payments and bank drafts. We've opened up a whole spectrum of ways for folks to be able to pay their bill, and include to be able to get messages from our interactive voice response system in either English or Spanish. And so with that, as customers get their bill, when they open the bill, they have to look at it and say, does this bill look right? Should I pay it? And so with that, we've only been providing them with 2 data points in the past: how much they used this month, how much they used last month. The current system that we're migrating the data from has 18 months of data that will eventually be populated up to the most recent 24 months of data, so that they'll be able to see how does this usage at this time match with their historical usage. When they go online, they'll also be able to see how does that correspond with temperature data here in New Orleans. And so with that, also many of our customers no longer want to receive a paper bill. They just want to receive it electronically, pay it electronically. We'll have that capability now. And so with that, we have trained over 250 people, and if you look at all the different sessions, we had it customized for each employee what modules they needed to be trained on. And so when you look at the staff and the classes, we've had right at about 2,000 people classes in that. And so with that, they've been trained, they've been cross-trained where that's appropriate, and most importantly, they've been tested and certified that they can demonstrate that they know how to use the system. And something I'm particularly excited about, people who have multiple accounts throughout the city we'll be working with them to combine those onto one bill, so they only get one bill a month. And also I like the fact that we'll be able to access the data and extract it into Excel without having to have a COBOL programmer write an extract program for that. Next slide. And so with that, we're very excited to be rolling this out. We've had some communications. You saw in Mr. Grant's presentation a mailer that's going out this week. We'll also be sending, we've got many, but not all of our customers' email addresses, and we'll be sending out an email blast to everyone, and we'll have communications with the press ongoing through next week. Whenever you change out a system like this, there is a number of risks. The number one risk is how quickly does it take for employees to get up to speed? You saw the number of transactions that we're responsible for handling. The biggest risk is how we've demonstrated that the employees can do the job. Now it's how fast can they do that job. And as we work through this, that's where we're going to have our first set of challenges, but we think that things will normalize through the course of that first month. We're going to have a lot of experts on hand to answer questions for people. And again, this is something that we started 2 years ago and we're very excited about. And again, the end result is that we want to provide customers with a more pleasant, more convenient experience when they go to do business with Sewerage and Water Board. So can I answer any questions for you?
Do you all track how many people come in to pay their bills and how many calls you get per day?
We do, and what they're asking about and where they come from.
It'll be interesting to see 6 months or a year from now
What's that?
the differences, and if people can get information from the website and they don't need to call and use our resources here.
I've often talked to my staff and said nobody wakes up in the morning hoping for the opportunity to call Sewerage and Water Board. And so with that, as they have questions, we want, you saw that we get about 25,000 phone calls a month. I really would like to make that information available online. I still want to provide all the capabilities for the folks who either want to talk to us by phone or in person. Certainly glad to do that. But to the extent that we can use information technology to enable that, especially for that to happen at a time that's convenient for them.
Thank you.
Will there be computer stations set up so that if they just want to come in and use it, because we kind of assume that people have online access, but if they were to just walk into the building, they don't really want to talk to anyone, they just want to do what they need to do, is that a
We intend eventually to put in kiosks, but we will not have them at Go Live. At this point, we still want them if they come in. Because in New Orleans, there's a number of folks who conduct business with us on a cash basis. And so the computer may not be of much help to them except in investigating their account. We'll be able to help them in person.
Okay.
It's a real privilege to take on a project like this because this is something that we made a promise to our customers when we raised the rates. We were going to make investments in information technology to improve our capabilities to do business with them. And so it's a real privilege to be able to deliver this. And so we'll be asking for their patience during that first month as we work through all of the go live issues. But
And we have a couple more modules coming on over the next few months.
right on the heels of that, while this one is nearly completely externally focused, Sewerage and Water Board to our outside customers, the next one is applies to all of our inside customers, our internal customers, and that 2 weeks after that, on November 7th, we'll be going live with a human resources and payroll and timekeeping system. And so we're particularly excited about that because we'll be able to provide better information for managers as they manage employees, but we'll also have better information on time usage as a result of that electronic timekeeping system.
Great. Okay, I know it's been a very long meeting relative to our recent norm for this. Is there anything else for Mr. Miller on the system?
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Very exciting time for the board.